But as a man, and I think Tim Grover says this, he says a real friend is someone that will give you the harshest feedback and make you feel fucked up. He goes, your fair weather friends are the ones that are just going to pat you on the back and say you did a great job. Hey, welcome to the MDK show. My name is Bedros Koulian. That is Steve Eckhart. We're the co-founders of the Modern Day Night Project. And today we want to talk to you guys about the current state of men's leadership. In other words, what happened to men leading their families? What happened to men exercising their voice? What happened to men leading their communities and this great country of ours? And the absence of leadership, we began to outsource our decisions to tyrants, which you see happening today. Steve, what is happening to men's leadership?
This is a story. We're coming about the 17th class of the project. One of the earlier first few classes of the project, we had some things go on that we were considering, are we even going to go forward with the project? And right while that was going on, I had my daughter's birthday party, and it was at like a horse stable. And I'm sitting there, and my wife is getting everything set up. I'm sitting there. I don't know what the fuck she was thinking. She left me alone with all the moms. I'm there with like 13 moms and all their daughters. It's my daughter's birthday party. So I'm there having to conversate with these women. I don't know what the fuck to talk about. So what am I going to talk?
I would love to have had a camera there.
So I'm talking about the project. I have nothing else to talk about. That was like, we were like just deep into it. We only did a few classes at that point. It was like, and it means a lot to us. We got tattoos on it. And so we're talking about it. And I'm talking to the women about it, and their daughters are there. It's just me and a bunch of women and young little 7-year-old girls. And one of the women says, "Oh, I saw that online. And she's like, you know what? And this is in front of 13 women and all their daughters, so over 13 kids. It's fucking heartbreaking to even tell this story. It's fucking disgusting. This one woman says to me, in front of all these women, in front of all their kids, "Oh, if my husband did that, he would never make it. He would quit in the first few minutes. He would just never make it." Wow. All of them laughed. All of their daughters laughed. I was like, holy fuck. There's no way we can stop doing the project ever. When this is what's going on. I was like imagine my fucking wife and daughter even thinking about me like that, let alone talking about each other to it in front of each other, but then in public, in front of all their friends and their peers and their kids. Like, holy fuck, like that shows you what the state of men is at right now these days.
Yeah, and listen, I know what's happening. You know what's happening. We all know what's happening, which is the opposition, big government is doing everything they can to cut down masculinity, to take away a man's voice. And they're pushing toxic femininity. If you want to know where there is no such thing as toxic masculinity, but there is toxic femininity. Because I'm telling you, when you take a young girl who graduates high school, 17 and a half, 18 years old, and like I said in the earlier episode, couple episodes ago, the Hodge twins did a video on it. This young girl graduates high school, and she's, beautiful young girl, in a flower garden, probably in her backyard. Mom took a picture. 2 years later, this young girl in university, purple hair, angry looking, like just very upset at the world. And mom had put that before and after picture, sadly, on social media and said, 2 years at university and my daughter has been radically feminized. And so not only is the opposition trying to suppress masculinity, suppress men's voices and how we feel and everything, your desire to have ambition, to make money, to have a large house, to be able to amass wealth, all those things are looked down upon, but also your ability to lead is being questioned now. Like, hey, if you do that, you're really oppressive towards women. You're oppressive towards others. It's like, wait a minute, a man is literally genetically wired to lead. Let him lead. Mm-hmm. Like it's even biblical. If you're like a Christian person and you're like, well, listen, God and Christ, okay, it's biblical. Let a man lead. But how are you going to let a man lead when the opposition uses big media, social media, and pumps so much chemicals into water that literally chemically castrate men? I forget what the name of the chemical is that is in our water system right now. They put a large amount of it in a bowl of frogs, and within 3 months, those frogs begin to lose their edge in terms of like their aggression.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, male frogs, a couple of them started to develop ovaries. True story. Jordan Peterson was talking about this on his show. So there's for you, for the fact finders, who are like, show me.
There's something like over 80% of kids, I don't know how you could even have a statistic or a study on it at this point, but kids 15 and under or something like that, I don't remember the age, that 80% of that are confused about their gender are boys that think that they're girls. 80%, it's all boys almost, a majority at least. It's fucking crazy.
The opposition's done a great job of confusing them, of making them feel that way and saying everything that you feel instinctively, like being aggressive, trying to challenge your dad, trying to push your dad over, trying to wrestle your dad, everything that a young boy is supposed to do, fight each other in a little school playground, all those things are bad, and if you do that, you're toxic. It's like, fuck that. No, that's a young man. That's what a little boy's supposed to do, is to test himself. That is the seed of leadership, because then that young man is also going to go and shake hands with that kid that he got in a fight with. They're going to become best of friends, because our generation, when there was a fight in the school playground, we quickly become friends with each other afterwards. But that opportunity is not presented anymore, because that you can't even have any kind of
forget fighting. They can't even play fucking dodgeball or kickball anymore. It's just you can't even pick teams anymore, because you're the last one picked, and it's going to hurt your fucking feelings.
Right. Exactly. So the where men are going, like the current state of men and leadership in men. Listen, I know, fellas, that you guys feel a certain way. Like you have ambition, you have drive, you want great things in life, you want to exercise your voice and your opinion, and you feel you can't. I believe you have to push against that, and you have to exercise that. In the absence of that, and we see at the project all the time, men come to the project and we give them that wristband to lead. Like, if at the project, it's a 75-hour experience, when you get the leadership wristband, you are now the leader. And we give these men opportunity to lead their peers over a 75-hour period. And it might be, hey, this guy's going to be a leader for 4 hours, 10 hours, whatever. They don't know. Only us instructors know how long he's going to lead. But when we see how these men try and lead, they can't even make eye contact communicating with their peers in terms of, hey, this is what we're going to do next, the instructor. They look at everyone's shoes, because God forbid they make eye contact. They feel threatened.
You know the times in the project, all the crazy shit we did, we literally bury them alive. But you know when they feel the most uncomfortable in the project, what I noticed? It's fucking wild.
Yeah.
When we have them rate each other. And then after they rate each other, first give the rating. They're staring at a wall, giving the rating. Then when they give the rating, we have them go, you call it nose to nose and toes to toes, and explain why they gave them that ranking. There it goes. They've turned the voice down like a little fucking mouse. They're looking at the floor, like you said. Yep. They don't know how to give feedback. They don't know how to receive feedback. It's fucking crazy, because that's the state of men these days. You can't even do it. You're toxic if you're giving feedback, or you're afraid and too weak to even take the feedback in. Mm-hmm. That is one of the most uncomfortable things that they go through in the project. It's fucking crazy. Just to sit there and tell a dude why he's fucked up and how you're going to help him, or tell someone why they can't even tell someone why they're good. They even have a hard time telling the person they picked as number one why they're number one. Because you're really, really putting out. Like, motherfucker, like, that's all. Like, they have nothing. It's fucking crazy that's when they're most uncomfortable.
And we've all heard the saying that iron sharpens iron. And I think, again, going back to the biblical terminology, I believe it's, and you guys can leave it in the comment if I say it wrong, and I've encouraged you guys to leave a true line.
Christians are going to torch you. They're going to fucking torch you.
They are. As iron sharpens iron, so does one man sharpen another, right? Well, so when we have these guys rank themselves several times throughout the project class, and we have them rank themselves from first guy to last guy, how many times have we had them all walk in and stand up in a line, and we go, hey, is this how you guys rank yourself? They go, yeah, we're all number one. We're like, the fuck do you mean we're all number one? Like, you guys are men in your 30s and 40s, some of you in your 50s.
They think they're doing the righteous thing.
Right. And, we're all number one. You're not all number one, because I saw you dragging ass, and I saw you complaining, and I saw you looking at the
but they come out, they think we're going to be like, wow, this is a team. This, we're like, you're a bunch of fucking pussies, because you're afraid to say who's good and who's not good.
Right.
This is just an excuse. That's a scapegoat. They think that that's like their cover-up of an excuse of being a little fucking bitch still. And that's when we know we still haven't broken through to them, and they need a lot more fucking suffering and pain until they actually nut up and say, all right, this one's good. This one doesn't even fucking belong here.
Yeah.
Then we know we're breaking through to them.
I'd rather know that all these men who are my peers right now for the next 75 hours see me as last guy, because I would ask every single one of them, what could I do to move one position over? What could I do to move one position over? And one thing at a time, I'm going to try and work myself into the top spot, or get as damn close as possible. But as a man, and I think Tim Grover says this, he says a real friend is someone that will give you the harshest feedback and make you feel fucked up. He goes, your fair weather friends are the ones that are just going to pat you on the back and say you did a great job. And there's a lot of truth to that, because a real friend is going to let you sit in the shit and tell you like, hey, you're sitting in shit. And I know it doesn't feel good. And here's what you did to get yourself into it. And here's what you can do to get yourself out of it. I'm here to support you.
They think they're being toxic by saying that when meanwhile you need it. You better fucking tell me. Like one of our recent episodes, I asked you about, are you still holding up to not drinking? You told me you're not going to drink anymore. I'm going to hold you accountable for it. I think it was Nick K, who I don't even know how to say his fucking last name, who's now one of the project instructors. He was telling this story. I think it was in the last class or one of the events we did. He said he ran into a friend that he hadn't seen in about 6 months, and he saw the friend, and the friend told him, "Oh, you look really good. You're looking better." He's like, "What do you mean I'm looking better?" He's like, "Well, I saw you 6 months ago. You looked like shit. You looked like you were down and depressed, like suicidal or something." He's like, "What the fuck? But you let me wait 6 months? You thought I was down, depressed, I looked like shit, and you waited 6 months later to tell me that you thought I was suicidal. What if I was suicidal? You just let me fucking kill myself." Like, holy shit. That's what men have come down to. They see it and won't even fucking say it to their friends. Imagine what your enemies are fucking doing. Right. If your friends won't even step up and do it.
Right. And so listen, guys, the state of masculinity, the state of men, the state of leadership is this. Very simple. You give feedback, you communicate, and sometimes you have to deliver the bad news so that your friend can wake up. Because if your friend doesn't, like imagine if Nick Koumalastos really was in a bad way. This dude had 6 months to help his buddy out, and he didn't. He just waited for Nick to turn the corner.
Nuts.
Like, what kind of a fucking friend are you?
Even if he just was getting fat, like, and you saw he was out of shape or something, and didn't say anything to him. Like, I tell my wife all the time, if you ever see me losing my edge, you ever see me getting out of shape, you better fucking tell me if I don't notice it myself, because I sure as fuck will tell my wife if I think she's slipping up. Mm-hmm. If she starts packing on some pounds, I'm like, listen, you better go damn elliptical.
Right, let's talk about that for a moment. So, because I know a lot of men are like, oh man, you would tell your wife, aren't you supposed to love her unconditionally, Steve?
Fuck yeah, I'm going to tell her. That is loving her unconditionally by not letting her fucking slip up and having no one to tell her and help her keep her on track. Of course I'm going to tell her. That's because of that. If I didn't, then I would let her go and do whatever else and look like shit or whatever. I'm going to tell it like it is. Listen, everyone needs an asshole in their life. Everyone needs an asshole like me in their life. Everyone needs an asshole in their life to tell them what's what. Because too many people walking on eggshells, tiptoeing around, afraid to hurt fucking feelings, politically correct, fucking masculine, toxic, whatever. I was told one of my videos was toxic toxicity one time, whatever the fuck that means. Toxic toxicity. Oh, that was
me leaving a comment.
Yeah. They're afraid to even say anything. They're afraid to tell their friends who are suicidal. They're afraid to tell their spouses that, like, yeah, you're not looking the way you. And I'm not saying you have to be rude about it or mean about it, but you should give that feedback. Yeah. Oh yes, you should.
Yeah,
because you love them unconditionally.
Bingo, and that's the magic sauce. And I want you guys to understand that if you have a friend, you have a loved one, you have a wife, you have a girlfriend, you have kids, and you're like, I love you unconditionally. If you truly love that person unconditionally, you will call them out when they start slipping towards obesity or sadness, depression, whatever. And here's why. Listen, both of us have a fitness background, and we know this. When you put on weight, you begin to get lethargic. When you get lethargic, you begin to feel down. When you feel down, that's one step away from depression. When you start feeling depressed, you're not a good spouse. You're not a good mother. You're not a good husband. And so if I love you as a friend, if I care for you as a brother, wouldn't I then call you out before you ever get to that state versus just going, well, it's a choice he's making. He's probably going through a phase.
Wow, you're deeper than me. I was just going to say I don't want to fuck a blob, but yeah, it was good.
Yeah, there too. And you probably don't want to fuck a blob. And that's yet another
you're
great
much deeper
answer.
than I am, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I like going deep. And so that's how we like to roll. What else do we need to add to this episode?
The men are letting women take the lead in both. Sure, women could take the lead in business, but I think they're letting them take the lead in the fucking house. Mm-hmm. Like women should not be taking the lead in the house. For the majority of the time, the man should be the leader of the household. And I bought an RV last year, and we're going to buy the RV. It's like $215,000. I went with my son Tyson. I watched some YouTube videos just to learn some terminology so I can negotiate it. I had no clue about RVs. I still don't know about RVs, but I showed up there just knowing enough to negotiate and not get fucking ripped off on a price. There for about 10, 15 minutes. I kind of knew what I was looking for. I said, all right, we'll take that one. It was like $215,000, 10-minute sale. Fucking sale of a lifetime for this stupid motherfucker. This dumb motherfucker says to me, well, don't you want to think about it? Don't you want to go home and talk to your wife about it? I said, you stupid motherfucker. I'm supposed to be the one saying that. Now you're the worst salesman on fucking planet Earth. Either that or you just don't have nuts. And imagine what his house must be like. His wife is in fucking charge of that dude's life. That he's telling someone that was the easiest sale of his life. Literally, we were there for 10 minutes. I said, I'll take that one. He was shocked. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, that's just how I roll. I know what I want. I'll take it. Where I want to leave with it. Fucking, he was in shock. He didn't know what to do. So he asked me if I want to speak to my wife. Like when we talk to men for the project. Oh, I got to talk to my wife. Motherfucker, you don't need to talk to your wife. You're telling me
your wife wants you here.
You're telling me your wife sent you the fucking video, or you're telling me that your wife doesn't respect you. So now you're going to go and talk to her and tell her you're going to go and sign up for the project. She's going to be like, fuck no, you fucking idiot. Because she doesn't respect you. Like, of course you're not going to go talk to your wife.
Yeah, and that's the reality. And fellas, I'm going to tell you something that you guys don't see that me and Steve get to see behind the scenes. You know, when we're running Facebook ads for the project, when we're running YouTube ads for the project, I can see in the comments, I'll always see, and you've seen this, when a wife will tag the husband in the comments, public. Listen, I don't know how else I could read into it other than you are publicly calling your man out and saying you are not a good man, a good husband, a good father, a good leader, and therefore I think you need this.
Bitch tits and your gut sticks out farther than your dick is sticking out. Like, that's what she's telling them when she tags them in there.
And that man, when he's on the phone with one of our sales guys, goes, I need to think about it. I need to talk to my wife about it. Bro, your fucking wife tagged you in a comment. And I was kind enough to delete that comment so that the world doesn't see you and then go to your fucking IG account and call you a little bitch. Don't for a moment say that you need to go talk to your wife.
My wife.
Yeah,
or they'll say they're having a horrible relationship. They're going to be ready to get divorced, but I'm going to go talk to my wife.
Yeah.
The bitch is about to divorce you. Of course, she's not going to let you go roll around the mud with some other dudes, and that's all she sees going on the internet.
Yeah. Why don't you go better yourself for the next woman that you're going to find? Like, she's not going to be fucking supportive of that. And men, here's the other thing I'm going to tell you. You got to start making decisions for yourself. And you're like, yeah, but joint account. Listen, I have joint account. I don't know if you guys, you and your wife have a joint account. I don't have separate bank accounts. So it's a joint account. But guess what? I make enough money. I've made enough decisions in my life where my spouse knows that I make good decisions, just like when she makes a big financial decision, I know that she makes good decisions. And so if we have to check in with each other.
So she doesn't have to, you don't have to check in with her when you're going to make a decision.
Nope.
Does she need to check in with you if she's going to spend some money?
Nope. Because
of course not.
No, we've got a track record of success where I know she makes good decisions.
Credibility and trust, and
bingo.
That's the way you've done it. Like, of course.
Bingo. And that's what you need to develop. If you're still having to check in with each other, one, you're either not making enough money, which shame on you. As a man, you got to make enough money. And don't be like, well, it's easy for you to say you're successful. Don't forget, I'm a fucking immigrant to this country. I ate out of dumpsters. I lived in Section 8 housing, had food stamps, and all that fucking shit. And I had to suffer to build my empire. And I know the same thing for Steve, other than being an immigrant. And so no one luckily got successful. We put in the hard work over decades. And if you're willing to put the hard work in over decades, build a team, build a product that solves a problem or a service that solves a problem that the masses want, you too can make a lot of money. And you're like, but I work for someone. Great, work up in that organization that you are so... you can't be replaced in a way that they're going to pay you an obscene amount of money where you can make a financial decision. And if you're like, well, in the past, I've made bad financial decisions. Learn to make better decisions. Become less emotional, more stoic, and more logical. It's all these reasons why you need the project. And this show isn't about selling the project. This show is about serving you. But part of serving you is telling you what you need. And many of you watching this show right now need the project. Anything else we need to add to this episode?
This one last, I want to see what you think about this. Do you think I hate using the word alpha, but just so people can understand what we're saying.
Yeah.
Do you think an alpha man can have an alpha woman? What do you think about that?
I think a strong leadership driven man, an alpha man, can have an alpha woman.
Because she might be an alpha in business, in her own personal
in her own lane.
But then coming home, if it's a true alpha man, she's going to then be submissive to the alpha, even though that's what makes her alpha. Like 100%. Some men will say, "Oh, my wife's an alpha, so she's running the fucking show." What does that make you if the woman is the alpha? She's now swinging the fucking big dick and you're the little bitch. Like, holy shit.
And that's why there's alpha and beta starts with the letter B, which is congruent with the bitch.
Fucking bitch.
Exactly. So on that note, guys, thanks for watching this episode of the Modern Day Night Project Show, the show that is dedicated to helping men level up in life in the faith, family, fitness, and finances. I want you to click the description box down below, learn all about the project. If it's a good fit for you, come join us in an upcoming class. We'll see you guys next time.